I'm with Silvia Pavoni, economics editor of The Banker, and we're discussing the performance of the Latin American banks in the top 1,000 ranking. So, Silvia, has it been a great year for Latin America?
I wouldn't say great. Despite the fact that it's economically, overall, the region hasn't performed as well as it had over the past few years. Latin American banks, on an aggregate level, still present the highest return on capital in the world. It's over 25%. So that at least is some good news coming out of the region.
Okay, but what about the outlook? Obviously, when we talk about Latin America, Brazil is very important, and things are slowing down in Brazil, aren't they? So how is that panning out?
So Brazil is indeed very important. The largest by far banking market in the region. In fact, the top 5 of the Latin American banks by Tier 1 capital are still Brazilian names. Undoubtedly, the negative economic outlook will very likely have an impact on Brazilian banks in the future as well.
Do you think we're going to see any more consolidation in Brazil? We've heard the news that HSBC is going to sell out and leave. Is that an opportunity for another foreign bank or for a domestic bank?
Well, there are a few local names being thrown in there as potential bidders, so it may be, but it's something that is still very unclear.
Okay, now when we look at the rest of the region, the Venezuelan banks have had a good performance, I think.
Yes, so Venezuela is, of course, a very interesting market. Traditionally, the Venezuelan banks have shown really high return on capital, but perhaps not so high Tier 1 levels. While this year we've seen that out of the top 10 most improved banks by Tier 1 capital, 8 of the names are Venezuelan.
Right,
so
okay.
they're definitely becoming stronger in terms of their capital positions.
All right, but I mean, Venezuela is a very unusual economy, has very high inflation. I mean, is this all about improvements to banks, or is it partly a product of the special economic circumstances
The
in Venezuela?
profitability obviously is very much linked to the high inflation that skews up results and tends to push up profitability. But the fact that capital positions have improved should also be noticed. So it's not necessarily an indication of the other funny, we should say, perhaps macroeconomic indicators.
Okay.